religion is power.
No, absolutely.
It's really what this is at the end of the day.
So
Because at the end of
basically,
the
these
day,
guys are trying to keep the woman in her place,
literally,
subservient
yeah,
to the man.
yeah. A man could be a child pornographer.
Oh, so they want her to be subservient to a pedophile.
Yeah.
Leave your blind obedience at the door. It's time for Carl and Mike.
Welcome to Carl and Mike. I'm Carl,
I'm Mike.
and we're here to rock your world. Right, Michael?
You really believe that's going to happen?
Yes. How are things going?
Things are going good.
I've been binging on House of Cards. Oh, Mr. Spacek.
Kevin Spacey, he is good.
He is good, and it's just the role like made for him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's kind of like Lindsey Graham meets
Yeah.
meets John McCain. Put them all together in one person.
Yeah, he's got that. Oh,
Kevin
well, now
Spacey.
that's a good. Yeah, Lindsey Graham and John McCain. And
Which they're kind of already kind of.
They're already kind of
twosome.
joined at the hip.
Yeah, they are. Did you see Lindsey's little acceptance speech? Jon Stewart skewered it the other day.
No, I didn't.
It's just pretty downer, pretty death and destruction. Pretty much, he's becoming president to save us from all being killed by ISIS.
Yeah, he wants to kill them all. Yeah.
No, he's saving. He's being president to save us.
Oh,
from
he's
being
gonna save
killed.
us?
From being killed.
Yeah.
He really. I like the tagline. If you don't vote for Lindsey, you obviously want to die. Pretty much.
Oh, so that's his tagline. Or we're going to write him a tagline.
We're
That'll be
going
good.
to, vote for me or die.
We could do that. We could write taglines for every one of the candidates, and we are up to. I like this. I
Yes.
saw something today, and she didn't quite get there, but she was kind of alluding to it. You know, this Duggar thing that's going on.
Duggar. Is it Duggar or Duggar?
Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
This is
D-U-G-G-E-R.
the 19 kids and counting family, and it turns out one of the kids has been dicking around with some of the other kids.
Yeah. And anyway, so he went to his church for counseling.
Yes.
And it turns out that the person that he took him to counseling to, well, I don't know if it was a church, but it was a state trooper that counseled him. Well, it turns out that state trooper's now in the state pen for child pornography.
He's a child pornographer.
Turns out that way, yeah.
So what better person to interview
Yeah.
him than another child
And
pornographer?
Huckabee and Santorum were kind of back in. So I think what we can do is we can take this whole 19 and counting, turn it into a 19 candidates and counting.
I like it.
You like it?
I like it.
Yeah.
We're going to have to do that.
19 candidates and counting.
Because I think there are probably about 19 now.
Yeah, and they're in
You got 3 on the Democrat side and a giant clown bus.
oh yeah, we're not in a clown car anymore. We're in a clown
bus.
bus. It's a
Yeah.
short bus.
Yeah.
We're gonna rent a short bus, and it would be appropriate that it would be a short
So
bus.
who do you
for
got?
the,
You got Jeb. You got.
No, he's not in
Huh?
yet. He's not
What?
in yet. Scott Walker's not in. They're still exploring.
Still exploring.
They're still exploring.
Yeah. So probably arguably the 2 front runners
They're still exploring.
for the Republican nomination
Yeah.
are still exploring.
Yes, which means they're out there
How
raking
convenient.
in buttloads of cash, like we talked about with the super PACs. So the
Yes.
super PACs, they're going out and they're kind of getting pledges. They're getting pledges for money that they're going to give, and then
So they're not really getting the cash. There's no
Well, they're-
cash
I mean-
in the bank account.
there may be some of that, but a lot of it is pledges. So they're amassing their war chest, and they're exploring. They don't have to report it. I mean, it's not that they don't have to report it. They will have to report that money
When
once they declare.
And what if they don't declare? What if they look at it and they go, not for me?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't
Or
know the
Scott
answer.
Walker
That's
has
why I
some
think it's
little-
more of a pledge than it is, putting money in
Right.
there. And that money could then be used, because it's going into super PACs, that money could then be used for Republican campaigns nationally.
Oh.
Okay, it could be that. So I imagine that's a big part of what it is. They can use
so
those
who's
super
paying
PACs.
for Scott Walker to fly, or Jeb Bush for that matter, to fly across the country in an
Imagine
airplane?
his friends, because I
So
haven't
that
seen.
isn't
well, I
considered
haven't really
declared
seen.
money. How does that work?
Well, I haven't really seen him getting off a Southwest jet.
No,
No, so my guess is, and I haven't
it's
seen
private
him.
airplane.
Yeah, it's private airplanes
So
at this
either
point,
he's
so they can
rich
move
enough
around.
to be able
a
to
bit.
pay his own way on that, or has he got money coming
well,
in for that?
no, I think there's maybe some of that, but I don't think when they're exploring, they can spend money to explore. to test so-called, and this is in quotes,
But where does
Test
the
the
money
waters.
come to explore?
comes from people that like him.
Well, then wouldn't that be money? Don't
Well-
they have to contribute? If I give Jeb
But
Bush,
he's not a
I
candidate.
run a plane, and I give Jeb Bush. Oh, he's not a candidate. So
Not
I
a
could give
candidate.
Jeb Bush
He's not a
$5,000
candidate as long as he's exploring. He's
for
not a
lunch
candidate.
money.
Yeah, lunch
Yeah.
money. He can get. You can take him to lunch. You can take him to dinner.
I could give him a plane.
You can let him stay in your condo. Let him stay in your house when he comes to town.
Yeah.
None of that, And oh, by the way, my jet's is deadheading back to New York because I got to pick up some people, or I've got to go to New York. You want to ride with me? There's all that kind of shit going
Yeah.
on.
The life of the.
Here's the thing I found out about. I want to try and get this as simple as I can because they've got it, and I'm going to try. Number one is these laws and these groups are set up to try and control big money. It's not trying to control the money from you, Carl, or me, Mike, because we don't have that kind of money to give.
Right.
We just don't. And so the 99,
we're limited to. As a matter of fact, there's a limit to what we can give.
Right. There's 99. The 99% of us. That's not what these laws are about.
Right.
These laws are meant to control the big money.
Right.
Try to control the big money.
Written
Okay?
by
the
guys
people,
making the big money.
big money. Exactly. So now you can think about that. Now the laws are going to be written by the people they're supposed to control.
Right.
So now you can think about that for a minute, and it doesn't take you. You don't have to be, an Einstein to realize that it's going to work however it needs to work for them to make it be legal. And that's what I'm saying right now. This whole exploring stuff that he's doing, it's legal as shit. It's really nasty looking, and it's ugly, and it does not even remotely keep the money out of the election. Doesn't
Yeah.
even come close to doing that.
Right.
So anyway,
The American people have to step up on that. If they really want it. The thing is, there's this, and I'm guilty of it as much as anyone. There's this, occasionally I'll sign a petition online. But
and it makes you feel like you're doing something. It
Feel
makes
like
you
I'm doing
feel
something.
good
Right.
because you're an activist now. Because you're
right, and I'm going
All
to
that-
say less than 5% even sign a petition.
yeah, and
Right, but it really people need to they need to stand up, and I don't know in today's information overloaded age if that's going to happen. Bernie Sanders recently called for 1 million young people to march on Washington, demanding student reform, and I just I posted on our Facebook page. If you go to Carl and Mike on Facebook, I posted a picture of a woman holding a sign, and if this is true, I find this hard to believe, but here's the sign. She says, student loan paid faithfully, 23 years. She borrowed $26,400, paid back to date $32,700.
yeah,
Still owes, this is the part I don't get, still owes $45,276.
yeah.
No bankruptcy or forgiveness allowed. Only death or total disability frees you. But here's the part I did not know. No Social Security or Medicare paid until this debt is paid off.
Oh, that's a good one. I didn't know that part.
If that's
Now,
true, we are
that's-
screwed.
She's got those are probably private loans. Well, now think about it. Don't be surprised that a $26,000 loan costs you, $100,000 when
yeah.
it's all over with,
Yeah.
or whatever it costs, because that's the same thing as buying a house with a mortgage.
Right. But I mean, my God, we're screwed as a nation if this is true.
Yes.
If we have
yes.
put into perpetual debt or deep debt education,
Yeah.
we're fucked.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
no,
we are.
we're-
Education should be like free,
Yes.
or as
it
close to
should
free as
be.
we can get. You know why, America, and why all Republicans, before you blow your heads apart, an educated populace creates jobs, becomes entrepreneurs, makes things happen in a
An
society. It's our
educated
most
populace also wants change. They want
educated society won't
they
probably
wanna
vote
fix
Republican
shit.
as
No,
it
they wanna
currently
fix
exists.
Shit. They want to fix shit.
Yeah.
They're going to want to fix shit.
So here's what he's saying.
Huh?
There's an incentive not to educate our population.
I think
Sometimes.
there's-
No, I'm not that cynical. I think there was a drive to get it privatized, so get banks, get some government protection on these loans. There's definitely was that. A little favor to the bankers, and I don't know when did this happen? Was this under George Bush too? That motherfucker, everything he touched turned to shit.
It was at that time where they deregulated all that kind of stuff, and I would have to go back and look at the financing like that. It's always follow the money, and because the people that are making the money are
get a deal, a bank got a deal. We're going to give these kids loans. We're going to charge them lowered rates, quote unquote. But this is guaranteed. You can't get out of it with bankruptcy. You can't even get out of it unless you're totally disabled or dead.
Yeah.
Sweet. What a sweet deal. If I give you a loan, I know I'm going to be paid back with interest, and there's no way you can get out of it, and the government's going to support it. Sweet.
Yeah. Yeah.
And to do that to education is...
Well,
I got student loans when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I paid those student loans back.
Yeah, so did I.
But, so was the system broken? I recall getting student loans.
I think there was,
so what the hell happened?
It wasn't that it was broken. Is that there were people that saw an opportunity to make a lot of money, and so it's with the deregulation of tuition prices and stuff like that. You also saw a lot of these so-called online universities like Phoenix University. Phoenix University is not an old thing. It's not like Harvard. It's not like Penn State.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of them out there that have to do with, Nita had a friend. Nita had a friend, and she worked for this lady who trained people to be stenographers and secretary. It was a secretarial school, basically, is what it was here in Dallas. And she was charging these girls that were trying to make a better life for themselves, trying to get an absolute astronomical amount of money for the tuition. But she also was able to funnel them into places to get loans, either through the federal government or through private. So she was able to. So the kids said, "Okay, fine, I'll do that." Now these are probably kids that are young that have absolutely no experience with making payments on big loans like that. They have no idea what it's going to do to them. Right. And now she's not in business anymore, but that was just kind of the beginnings. There's a lot of companies out there that are that way, that tend to be trade-oriented or just not just trade-oriented, but they're charging way too much money for what they get, and they're able to get these kids on the tit with either federal or private loans.
Right. And the thing is,
federally insured.
when you get out of, I pretty much paid my own way through college with some help with some student loans. And I got out of college. I was making squat.
Yeah.
So I didn't pay student loans for my first couple of years.
Yeah.
And it ended up taking me, I graduated from college in 1980. I probably did not pay off my student loans until 1990, somewhere around. It took me 10 years.
Yeah.
And didn't pay anything for the first 3.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't afford it.
Yeah. Well, see, that's with federal loans, there's a lot more forbearance that's available to you as far as.
Right.
But with private loans,
Yeah.
no.
And so that's why a woman's got $45,000. She could have paid faithfully for 23 years. So I'm surprised it's been that long. Has that been around? So maybe it wasn't. Maybe I take it back. And maybe it wasn't George W. Bush. Maybe it was Clinton. 23 years is a long time.
Whatever it is, whoever put that in place, it really doesn't matter whether it's
Democrat
during the Clinton administration, and it's not just, and it's whether it was during the Clinton administration or the Bush administration. It wasn't just Clinton that said, "Hey, we're going to do this," or Bush that said, "Hey, we're going to do this." It was a whole push behind them of the people that are going to make the money off of it. Yeah. That's who pushed this.
Yeah. Anyway, it's just obscene, and I hope people take Bernie up on it. And I got a lot of 20-somethings I know aren't working or are working part-time. Go to Washington, march.
And
I think America needs to see that.
There's a lot of people that are taking advantage of people that don't have a lot of money.
Yeah, I'm glad Bernie's in the race. I think he brings a voice that hasn't been heard.
Yeah.
Because despite, like I've said before, despite Republican claims of every Democratic candidate being a socialist, We haven't heard a socialist speak until we're ready. And I find it interesting. They bring up this thing about him with women. Some quote from from 1972?
They're gonna find something.
Really, we're
Yeah.
going to 72.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, could you even? I can barely remember what I had for breakfast 4 days ago. How would you think about? How would you react to something?
I don't
Somebody
know,
pulled
but
something
they're
that
gonna
you
look.
said in 1972.
They're gonna do it. They're gonna do it.
So the basic idea is, look, he said this horrible thing, so he must be a horrible person. Why would you vote for him?
Yeah.
Because he said something out of mainstream sometime in his life.
Yeah. And
Have you said something out of mainstream sometime in your life?
Constantly.
We have in this show pretty much on a weekly
we have
basis.
This show. Yeah.
That's just, I don't know. I think that's whether it's there's difference between saying something and an action.
Yeah.
I think we should focus on the actions and not focus on some thoughts or conjecture a person had.
Yeah.
That's my feeling.
Yeah.
George Bush, saying, whether it be George Bush or Bernie Sanders, I really don't care. It's when George Bush did try to do the National Guard thing, and that was an action, there was, and then say.
Oh, you mean when he was avoiding going to Vietnam?
That was an action.
Yeah.
Okay. You can be accountable for your actions. Yes, you got to be accountable for your words to a certain extent, but that's a standard that nobody runs for president.
And that
I
was
think the
really-
line should be action.
Yeah.
Really.
But see, that was an action that he took that he actually could be commended for because he did join up.
Right.
It just happened to be he joined a service that there was no chance.
Yeah, I
that he was
actually
gonna
didn't even
go.
have.
And
it
so
was
he
the,
was.
It
a,
was
a
the cover up
political-
around it that bothered me more, or the attempt to.
Well,
You know what?
there's part of that.
I
but
didn't believe in the Vietnam War. If I'd have been that age, I could have done something like that too.
It was not easy to get into the National
Right,
Guard back
right,
then.
right,
I
right,
mean, it
right,
just
right.
there's some shaky shit that
Yeah.
went on. But anyway,
There's a lot of stuff, comics lately, they said something and it's offensive or whatever. And I don't know all the particulars on the Bernie Sanders thing, but I think a new line should be action more than words. And just because there's, things pop in your head and you could say a stupid thing, and that doesn't have anything to do with who you are.
or what you
as a
could do is
person.
you could take the other side and say, as soon as we found something that he said that was stupid, or if he says something that's stupid, he's off the bus.
Right.
Okay, so that means Huckabee's out of there, right?
They're all out of there.
Yeah, that's
But I'm
exactly
saying,
right.
and the problem is nobody's going to run. I mean, partially you're getting these there's a lot of people that don't run for president
Well, look
simply
what you're
because.
getting now. Look what you're getting now.
Yeah, look what you're getting now.
Does anybody think that this is the best and the brightest? I mean, come on.
Yeah,
No.
but you're not going to go put your family through, put yourself through it.
Right.
For, so someone can pull out something you said back in 1972.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Yeah.
I digress.
So what else is going on?
Speaking of fundamentalism,
Yes.
let's talk a little bit about the Village Church here in Dallas, Texas.
Yes.
So to those who aren't familiar with this story, this is church, big church, one of the mega churches. We have several here in Dallas.
We do.
Why is that? Well,
It's the
they're
big
in the
boxing.
Bible Belt.
It's the big boxing of church.
Yes, I love that. The Toys R Us of church.
Yeah.
Well, bigger than Toys R Us, I have to say.
It's the Costco
It's
of
it's
church.
the up in Carrollton. There's this church. It's got to be other than Cowboy Stadium.
Yeah.
It's the second largest building of arena, if
Yeah.
you will. Anyway, back to Village Church. So they send off, of course, young people, kind of like the Mormons, to do missionary work, which is really kind of disgusting to me.
Yeah, that's another thing.
So I don't even,
yeah.
go to Africa and take people who have no education yet and convert them to Christ. I mean, I guess that's the easy pickings. Why don't they come in and try to do it at Stanford?
Yeah.
And try to do
Yeah.
that, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, but I digress.
Yes.
So it takes this couple.
And they're
wives-
members of the church.
They're members of the church, both of them, and recently married, and they're off to do good deeds. And soon afterwards, the wife discovers that the husband is into child pornography
Ooh.
in a big way.
Ooh.
And so she's not happy about that.
She's
Well,
not?
No, she's not.
No.
And it turns out anybody that goes through this church signs like a covenant with the church
Ooh,
leaders.
An agreement?
If you will, a contract, should you.
No.
This is where the cult comes in.
No.
And it basically says that, before getting a divorce, you will confer with the church leaders and get their wisdom.
Who are the church leaders?
Oh, the church leaders are the top dogs in the church.
Male dogs or?
Oh, I'm going to say male dogs,
Yeah,
yes.
we're gonna say how many?
Alpha dogs?
Yeah.
Yes.
The
I'm
dudes.
going to say for the most part, yes, because, of course, that'd be biblical.
Because I know at Watermark it's all men
Right.
that are in there.
Right. And then you can't, so she's upset, obviously, as any rational person would be, to find out, and she wants the marriage annulled as soon as possible, and she wants to separate from him, including the finances
Yeah,
or
this
what
is a
have
sick
you.
fucker I want out of here.
I want out of here. And it turns out, that, also she's not supposed to, she can't leave the church. There's a process before she can leave the church. There's a process about getting divorced. And they get upset with her because she's trying to separate the finances. And the church
Finances of what?
Of the marriage.
Oh,
personal finances.
Oh,
Your
the
little
church
checking
now
it,
has something to do with
they
their
want to have a little
finances?
say in that.
The church wants to have something
yes.
to say
Yes.
in the
elders.
married couples.
Finances,
Private-
especially
Private finances.
private finances, Michael. Yes, the little checkbook that you have with your wife.
Well, because they're getting some money out of it. They're getting a cut
getting a
out
little
of
check
it.
out of
They're
that,
getting a tithe
yes,
out of that,
yeah.
10, 15%, whatever.
So he comes back, and of course he repents, as all Christians do. And I finally figured out from
and
this.
does he have to confess in front of the congregation and stuff like that?
They didn't really say, but I imagine there's
Yeah,
an element
because
of that.
those they
I'm
do.
a sinner, Lord.
Yeah, no, yeah.
So I finally get this thing where if you're a Christian and you do wrong, but you say, devil made me do it, or I'm sorry, or I'm a sinner and I'm asking God's forgiveness, then boom, everything's off. Everything's fine.
They have a get out of jail free card.
They really do have a get
Yeah.
out of jail. And now I'm getting that for the first time. I always try to wonder the
But
hypocrisy.
it's the guys that can give you the get out. It's the
Yeah.
guys with the. With
So he does that, and everybody goes, "Oh, what a one!" He's on his way back. But the girl's not following the rules, and so she kind of gets.
all of a sudden, she's the bad person.
Yeah, she gets a little sanctiony, or I got to look at the story exactly, but she gets. He's doing well, the child pornographer. But the woman who wants the divorce and wants her checkbook free, and so she ends up leaving the church, which of course was to me, this village church thing is getting right into Scientology down that road.
It does sound a little creepy.
Well,
doesn't it?
they're supposed to get permission in a sense from the elders before leaving the church. So she's breaking the contracts left and right. But the thing is, she's blogging about it.
Oh,
Yes.
Good
She's
for her.
blogging about. Now she's still a true believer.
Well, you can do that,
Yes,
but you
you
don't
can
have
be.
to be. You don't have to swallow that other bullshit hook, line, and
Right.
sinker.
So here's, and I think we've talked about Watermark. There's this element here. There's fundamentalists I'm talking about. I'm not
It's a
talking about all
patriarchal
Christians.
thing. It's a
It's
real
a patriarchal thing, but it's really religion is power.
No, absolutely.
It's really what this is at the end of the day.
So
Because at the end of
basically,
the day,
these guys are trying to keep the woman in her place,
literally,
subservient
yeah,
to the man.
yeah. A man could be a child pornographer.
Oh, so they want her to be subservient to a pedophile.
Yeah, they're saying let the elders oversee this breakup. They're kind
Because
of saying
they
to her,
know best.
we're going to let you. We understand. Let the elders who know best, because they know the Bible the best, so therefore they are better attuned to be
Wouldn't
able
you
to make
like
the
to
right
root around
choices.
in their background a little bit?
Ooh, baby. And it's just, God, that's what everything in this story is what I dislike about
Well, that was
organized
Watermark
religion.
did that. They were in the paper as a number of years ago about a similar kind of thing like that.
Did they?
Yeah.
So the elders are
Yeah, the elders in the case of Watermark, I think it was correction and counseling and correction. You can come in and submit yourself to counseling and correction, or some. It was 2 C words like that, and I want to say that's what it was. And it was a group of men. So on their website, there was a collection
Right,
of
because that's
elder
how-
men, males, because
Yes.
they're the ones that are running the deal.
Right.
And you come in for counseling,
right,
and then if you need it, correction based on what they think
right,
scriptures would say,
right.
or has said, or what you've agreed to with your
Right,
paper,
right.
or whatever. And I'm sure Watermark, all those churches, my guess is they signed that covenant,
Right.
because that's a way of you forcing people to sit down and make a commitment.
Yes.
It's
So yeah, let's unpack this whole thing.
yeah. Let's unpack.
So that's right. So the covenant is to get them to make a serious.
Yeah, to sit down. It's like when you're buying a car. How serious are you? Are you serious enough to sign your name on the paper here to buy the car? Are you serious enough about this church to sign your name on it? And
Why do you
agree
need to be
these things?
serious enough about the church?
Because it commits. It's a commitment, and it commits you to living and believing a certain way and agreeing with what they're doing.
Right. And so, and in this covenant, it's, so that you're in a sense gonna take part of your life and confer it to the elders who know better. So the idea is the elders have gone through more Bible training, teaching.
You're
so
abdicating
they know,
your responsibility for your life.
Yes. So they know better because they've studied the Bible more in depthly than you have. So they know God's law
Yeah.
better. So they are better equipped to make decisions than you are. That's the logic as
They
we
are the
unpack this?
imams of that church.
Right. And isn't that any different really from
No,
a Muslim?
it's really not.
Really isn't.
No,
it's just
not.
the Christian
They're
version.
both patriarchal kind of a things.
Right.
You do this. There's no headscarves and shit like that, but it's still a patriarchal kind of a deal. Which I think, to me, these days, to have any free thinking, intelligent woman submit herself to that level of oversight by her, let's just call it what it is, her male superiors. At least that's the way they feel like it. They are superior to her because they're the ones that are making the decision. They're all male. So she is now allowing what could be called male superiors run her life. And this
Run
woman,
parts of
so
her
this
life.
woman's balking at this shit, right?
Yeah, she's once,
Is she out of the church?
Yeah, she left church.
Oh, did they shame her and then kind of shun her? Have all the people shun her?
I know
Kinda
the
like
story
this-
is breaking in progress. So supposedly
it is?
this weekend the priest has talked about this because it's run by a charismatic young guy.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh,
I think
we
he
gotta have
wears jeans and
charisma.
got to have a charismatic, young guy to kind of
Is
run
it a
the
Prosperity Jesus Church?
thing. I don't know that much about,
Yeah.
but I'm going to say there's probably that element. But I'm going to say it's supposed to be the hip happening place.
Oh, it's hip and happening. It's run by old guys or young guys.
Yeah, it could be young,
And
run by men.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I agree. So women, that's what you sign up for on that. I'd be careful. If I was a woman, I would be very careful about joining any organized religion. And I sure hope I don't see women mirroring this and creating their own church where they do the same thing. You know what I mean?
Oh, that would be good. A mirror.
So guys, how would you feel about that if you had women telling you how to use or not use your sexual energy, power?
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. That's, when you try to flip it, you kind of show the whole craziness of it.
Yeah, I think you do. Yeah. I think you do. And that's, I don't know, but
And for those, I don't think any of this is, the attempt to say what Jesus, this is how Jesus would want. It's just
yeah, is that
bullshit.
really what Jesus would have said? I don't think so.
Yeah. And I don't even want to. I mean,
Yeah, I don't even want to try and predict what that is. But that's so
try to
far
talk for
off
Jesus.
off base with it should be all about.
this is happening 2015. So let the child pornographer go and move on. So that's my religious thing of the
Yeah.
day. So we've got politics, religion.
Hopefully, got you pissed off a little bit.
Yeah, but not always.
Or
Sometimes
informed.
we
No,
want
we
to
just
make
want
you
to get you
laugh.
informed,
Today
yeah.
we want to just piss you off.
Yeah.
All right. Tune in to Carl and Mike. We're on social media everywhere. Hey, check out our new video podcast, 5 Questions in 5 Minutes with Carl and Mike. Right now, number 4 and new and noteworthy on iTunes under video
with the bullet.
podcast. So go to iTunes, click on the podcast little tab, click over there to video, and you'll find Carl and Mike right there. We're also at carlmike.net.
We're everywhere.
Yeah.
All right.
We're out. Peace.
Out.